And we're back for another rocking global leader interview. And today I have with us an incredible lady who's doing some very special work. We're going to hear from the rocking Sandra. Sandra, how are you doing today?
I am very blessed. I know that when I woke up every single morning and I have a pulse, I still have a purpose. So I'm doing very well. Thank you.
I love your energy. I love your vibrancy. And that's what it's about, having that frequency that allows you to live in the now and not be in autopilot.
Yep. Ain't nobody got time to be an autopilot. So you have to own who you really are, embrace your flaws and all, and say, I have one life to live. And I think with the pandemic, we definitely learned that we all got extra time. We got to reevaluate what's important in life. And I never counseled anyone who was ill that said, I should have spent more time at work.
Now, I know you wear many different hats and you do some incredible work. You do work in the entrepreneur side, you do work in the philanthropy side, but I know that's your real focus. How about you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so I am a ASCHP registered wellness counselor. So I deal with a lot of trauma. I am accredited with the ICF in the United States as a master's coach. That's business coaching as well as life coaching. I am a neuro-linguistics programming practitioner. I know it's a big word, but it's really about embracing the brain and understanding that we all think and learn differently. And I am a gender-based violence activist and a lover of life, and more importantly, a very blessed child of the King Most High.
Wow, I love the titles. And one that actually stood out for me was your NLP title. And there's a lot of people who actually don't understand the power of NLP, personal development, mind power. But this is one of the reasons we created Global Leaders, was to help people understand that we can learn something from someone else's story. We can learn the secrets of their success and implement it in our lives. So, Sandra, what is the secret to your success? You've done so much.
I feel like I haven't even reached half of my list. But like I said, since I experienced a near-death experience in 2015 and then realized that I couldn't die properly, so I decided to come back and live really, really, really properly and do all the things that anybody had said to me I cannot do. And NLP helps that. And I love working with children who have learning needs, adults. I empower women in the communities. And NLP really says we all learn differently. So some of us are auditory, we like to listen, or visual, or kinesthetic. And it's about embracing the human brain as the most powerful tool you have to create your own success.
Wow, wow, wow. You are a natural. I must be honest, you are such a natural. You ooze confidence. And this is what we're looking for, influential women. And this is one of the reasons why when our team from Global Leaders sat and said, we're going to be getting the influential woman part of it because it works so fantastically in season 3. Now, Sandra, you did tell me before starting this interview that the work that you're doing in these different communities, it's so powerful. It's touching the hearts of the communities, but you just wish there was more resources because you're asking people for toothpaste and you're asking people for all of this. We want to use a platform of this nature to take your project and literally get the entire world part of it. How can people get part of it? And once they get part of it, what are you going to do with the money?
Oh, I tell you, it is so humbling. It has been an amazing journey for me. You know, when you have and you're in executive roles and there's abundance, you kind of take that for granted. I'm very blessed in that I was raised very humble. Um, I come from a Latino family and we grew up in a very humble home. My father always said, whether I have 5 rand or 5 million rand in my pocket, you must never know the difference. Now, I must be honest, I believed we had the 5 million the whole time. And so I played the 5 million rand daughter, only to go to English school, realize that I couldn't speak English, and to realize that they have extra shoes, and there's something called the tuck shop. And I remember going to Mama, are we poor? And she's like, don't you ever say that. And she says, you are rich because you have God living within you. You are alive. You have, if you're breathing, you're not, and why do you want to be like everybody else? So this has really impacted my life's decision to be a humanitarian. It's not the easiest thing, especially when you're used to being in a corporate environment and you get all the stars. And now I'm going back and with humbleness saying, please help. There are so many people in pain. COVID has broken so many families. Our gender-based violence statistics are horrific. I finished my thesis on that last year, and we presented in the United States. I was invited to Harvard, which was like a moment. Those moments where you're like just fitting in, blending in. But be careful what you dream about, because as a little kid, I said, one day I'm going to go to Harvard, and everyone's like, yeah, right. And I eventually got invited. And then to talk about my greatest passion, and that is does each one teach 10? How does each woman empower another woman? How does a little child not follow the path of self-destruction that they've seen when they were growing up? And so we have numerous safety homes. I volunteer at these safety homes. It's between 14 to 16 hours a day. It is exhausting. And when I say volunteer, you volunteer with your mind, your body, and your soul. And we're looking after, for example, in one of our safe homes, we're looking after 137 children who have come from affluent homes. And because of the pandemic, and the increase in gender-based violence, where one woman gets murdered every 3 hours, there is insane amounts of abuse. So they leave these plush homes, and you realize it doesn't matter where you are living. What matters is how you're going to exist and how you're going to propel forward. So we are asking for just basics, and it's really crazy. I'm used to being the executive saying no to CSI projects, and now karma has had it that I'm going, just a toothpaste or a toothbrush, or, when I arrived at the home, these kids were sharing toothbrushes and toothpaste. They didn't have blankets, so anything that we can help with. And society have been so forthcoming with, little teddy bears. And I also want to, I think, say that gender-based violence, a lot of people think it's just women and children. I've got a lot of men in the home as well. One is a particular sergeant. He's a big built Afrikaans man who comes into the home and says, I'm here to help protect you. And I'm like, thank you. He then, a week ago said to me, and this I take to heart, is if somebody can trust you with their vulnerability. And he said, I don't know how to tell you this. And I'm like, I'm a therapist. You can pretty much tell me anything. And he then told me, and then I thought, I was never ready for this. But he said to me, I married a Chinese lady, and she beats me up. And when I'm sleeping, she pours hot water on me, and she smacks me with the pan. She says that I'm at work and I'm with other women. And he said, I need to get her to go back to her country. And I said, no, what you need right now is to get out of there right now, because you're going to be a statistic. And so we still have to honor our mind, body, soul, and everybody deserves respect. For a man, being bullied is one of, like he said, he would prefer death. And so what I have done with my team is I've hired him on no pay, because we all on no pay, but I've hired him to be stationed at the home, at the safe home. And I said to him, you do not leave this vicinity. I need you to look after the ladies and the children and the men. And it's a witness protection program. And he sleeps there, which is wonderful. So I don't know where Hello Kitty is now, but he's going nowhere near her. And what I thought was really touching is on Madiba Day, we got 67 teddy bears. Now, who do you give it to? There's 137. I noticed that we handed it out and the kids were sharing. And that night, when I said my goodbyes and I ran the soup kitchen, I saw him lying in his bed. And when I say mattresses on the floor, you will be humbled. And he was holding on to something. And I thought, and he kept a teddy bear for himself. So remember that, the inner child within you always wants to be loved and appreciated. And as a human being, why can we not just have dignity? So, yes, whilst I was raised in a Latino home and then decided that it was very male dominated, I decided at the age of 5 that I was going to be the CEO of my own organization, even if it was to sell lemonade. I then grew up to realize that it's not about being the CEO of your own organization. How we get there is through a circle and a firewall of men who stand in valor, who stand in dignity and in honor, and are not bystanders to abuse, and who protect us. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. I promise you, if you could witness the behind the scenes right now, we've got a whole lot of people who just came to hear that powerful story. You can see she's waving to her fans. You can hear the applauses. That was powerful. And I'll just like to ask you one last question before we love you and before we leave you. How can people get involved? How can people donate to your cause? Because that's important. I mean, let's say you'll raise 100,000 in a couple of weeks. Why not? And make a difference with those 138. How can people donate?
They can definitely donate. So you can contact me on my consultancy. It's www.myselfmastery.co.za. I'm also a supporter of hashtag Project Rage, and we would be happy to have any help. And what we really want to do is say no more blood on our hands. Gender-based violence needs to stop, not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now.
Wow, wow, wow. So I challenge you guys. Can you help her with her fantastic project? Let's see how quick you guys can do that. Let's set a goal for you guys, 100,000.
Sure. ZARs, 100,000 rand.
Right. You see, she So guys, contact her, make a difference. From myself, Rajiv Mothie, I've just got one thing left to say. You guys have just been motivated.